Mike's sick this morning, so I'm covering as the acting chair. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Jen, will you do roll call, please?
Yep, Mike Dolson's PTO, Tom McDonald.
Here.
Jennifer Finley. Jim Molitor. Carol Langford.
Here.
Danielle Matt. Here. Bing Matt. James Steele Jr.
Yes.
Martin Charlo.
Present.
Len Tootieth. He should be on soon. He said he was going to Zoom this morning. Lanice Trahan.
Thank you, Jen. Well, let's start this morning off with the prayer. And James, or Jimmy, would you do the honors? Thank you.
I'm not grandfather. Grandfather, today we call on you to join us, to guide us in the work we do for our people, to watch over us as we make decisions and for the best for our people as we move along. We ask you to watch over the people that have sick people in their family right now that they need to watch over, put their hand on them, heal them, and just ask you to watch over our children, watch over the elders, and the military, the people that care for us and watch over us. Ask us in your name. Amen.
Dunlap's Jimmy. First, let's take care of our minutes. We have minutes from July 30th for consideration and approval.
Motion to approve the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Motion by James to approve the minutes. Go ahead, Martin.
On page 9, my comments, actually, never mind. It's fine. Mostly. Second.
Second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And actually, Mr. Chair, could I just put in there in that comment section just to congratulate Marvin on being inducted to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame?
Absolutely.
I'm agreeable to the correction.
Yeah, I apologize. I was after. I was just trying to think of it.
Sounds good. That sounds appropriate. I'm going to abstain, but we have a majority. We're passing the minutes, so minutes are approved. We have today's agenda. Is there any changes or modifications to today's agenda? Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to update and open on an event I attended yesterday.
Okay, we'll add Martin. Anything else? Okay. Jimmy has a couple things. Any other items? Motion by Martin to approve today's agenda with modifications. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? See none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Tom, I just have a few things maybe for executive, but it can wait. It's not important. So just whenever we go into executive, I just have one thing actually.
I'm missing Jennifer on my list here. Is that Jennifer? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
that's me.
Jennifer. I don't have you on my screen for some reason. Got it. Okay. Is there a motion? We approved it? Okay. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and hit the first one. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yesterday I attended an event at the Flathead Lake Biological Station. It was just kind of an announcement of some grants that have been awarded by the EPA, just to combat toxins going into the Columbia River Basin. So there was a $6 million award for the biological station to redo their septic system. It's kind of a pilot program where for smaller areas that may be close to water bodies, possibly that septic system could work. The Western Montana Conservation Commission got a $6.9 million grant. That's for reducing stormwater pollution and septic leachate, toxic pollution into the headwaters of the Columbia. If you want to Google what septic leachate is, it's basically what your septic turns into. So that's also with, I believe we're actually partnering with the Flathead Lakers as a tribe to do a project up in Elmo to combat swimmer's itch, some showering and wash stations. So definitely good things happening to protect our water. It was a good event. I didn't go out on the boat because I didn't want to have a Gilligan's Island or something. But it was a good event. They gave us a shout out a couple times and nice little land acknowledgement. Chauncey Means was there. He's our point on a lot of these things, and some of these grants were written in late. Probably Tom, you probably helped with some of these. So, yeah, it was a good thing. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for that update. Biological station's an important resource for maintaining our high water quality standards for the reservation and our reservation waters. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating. Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I got a complaint from a concerned travel member. The lady's complaining about a vicious dog issue again. I guess her dog or somebody's dog down there in that Laughing Lily Circle got attacked pretty bad. And she's pretty concerned about these dogs thinking they're going to hurt children here pretty soon. And so she wants to know what we are doing for dog ordinance. And I told her we'd check it out. I think we were working with Polson, weren't we? To get that. Nothing really happened.
Yeah, we can ask legal for an update on that. I know, I think it was Mike and Stu were working on that, and I think we had a general document that would kind of suffice to meet criteria for Polson, Ronan, St. Ignatius, and the tribes.
Yeah,
even Lake County was working on it with us. I think they were actually a catalyst.
She's pretty concerned about it anyway. And the other issue I had is during that storm, it blew down trees, all over the place. But there's a tribal member up there in Arley that has a pretty good, almost the whole tree laying kind of over the top of her trailer house, and it's hanging up in there with branches from other trees. She's afraid of that thing falling down on her roof. Wants to know if we can have that removed. I don't know who to go to for that.
What type of housing is she in? She owns her own place
Yeah, it's a trailer house.
and she owns it. Is it a tribal lease lot?
I think it is a travel lease lot. Yeah.
I'd go to lands first. I think technically the tribes own that tree. So
I stopped by there and looked at it. If it did come down, it would catch the roof, but it's, you know, I don't think it'd be that heavy, but
I checked with Brad, you know, just ask
It's-
Brad or, what's his name? Well, Mark would be a good one, Mark or Brad.
they come in today, I'll talk to them about it.
Yeah, you know, in order to like thin it out, you gotta they have to organize it. Well, Louis, you talked to Louis about it too. I know Louis looks at the trees.
You know, it takes so long to get them guys to do something sometimes. I think, you know, shit, I just go in there and cut it down myself, you know, just pull it out. It's simple, hook it up with a chain and drag it out of there. I mean, you could, it's about 10 feet up and it broke and it's just laying in other branches up above her. And a guy could grab that, cut it and just pull it.
The tree's not currently touching our house,
No, it's not touching her
but
house
it's
yet,
gonna,
but if it fell,
so.
we'll see what happens, how fast they do it, if not, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Take that long. Loretta, Liberties. It's one of those cottonwoods, it's about 10 feet off the ground and then it just busted a big knot there and it's laying right across.
All right, is that it, Jimmy?
That's it.
Those two things? Okay, so Jennifer,
Yeah, thank you. Are we in executive?
no, we're not. We can go into executive if you like.
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll move out of regular into executive. Are you available? Next, we have Carrie with the ferry basin drawing permits. And there's a few folks here that are anticipating their name to be drawn. I didn't see them slide me anything to help with my gambling addiction, but that's okay. Hey, come on up. You guys are up. Come on up. Drum roll, please. I'll give you some time to. Get a donut real quick. I'll be right back. You all ready? Drum roll. Well, how many are we doing here? What's the story?
So it's the same quota as last year, so we've got 30 bull tags, either sex tags for Ferry Basin, 6 rams and 3 ewes for the Little Money. Still no hunt for the hog heaven herd. They haven't covered, so.
Okay. Let's do her.
I know that stuff is out this afternoon, or today, but we'll put this, distribute these lists through the everybody email, this morning and afternoon.
Permits themselves will go out to folks.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, I have to get in.
Well. 2 years, I'm gonna put my name in for the first time.
So you didn't get drawn, Tom?
Well, I always pray that I could get one of these drawings, but you gotta meet God halfway and put your name in. I haven't done that since we created the permit system. They'd always say it was rigged, They'd always say, oh yeah, he got it because he works there, Oh, he got it because he's on council now.
When I was there,
Yeah.
and it was the first time when I got the RAM tag that first
That's
year,
right.
and I was the permit agent, so then they were like, this is rigged.
Rigged. Yeah. I remember Bill Files got like a couple of RAM tags. It's rigged. Thank you. Keep up the good work. They never forget though. It's like riding a bike. They do. Okay, Scott, come on up. We're moving along here. Yeah, perfect timing.
Good morning. Did I hear there's a question?
I'm sorry, Carol just put in the chat, she was inquiring about the status of Grace Lane.
Okay, yeah, that's, it's already, I'm working on with a consultant to get a quick engineering, of that bridge, but we want to get that replaced as soon as possible. Yeah, there's no question that that bridge needs to be replaced. And, I'm not worried about funding or anything on that one. I'm just, wanting to get it done as soon as we can. I'm working with Seth on that.
Okay, go ahead, Scott.
Okay, so, just a little review with this, this map that I'm sharing. The FY 22 NSFLTP, which is the National Significant Federal Lands and Tribal Program, projects, I think it is national, yeah. But the dashed red line that goes around two sections, that was our original ask for, the FY 22 grant. We were awarded the green section, which is in the bottom, at 30.5 million, almost, yeah, a little over 30.5 million dollars. That one, that grant, we didn't find out that we were awarded it until the middle of last year, and then we got it transferred. Council approved the transfer to MDT to administer that back in December of last year. The reasons we did that was because MDT has the resources and we don't to administer that. And it also transfers it from the federal highways Office of Tribal Transportation, which is in Washington. It transfers it to the Helena Federal Highways person that MDT is used to working with. So that's why we did that one. If we jump up to the upper part of that map, we were awarded the almost $75 million project. Or there's two names for this one. It's Reconnecting Communities or Neighborhood Access and Equity Grant. So that one was awarded to us. And also the Wildlife Crossing Pilot Project. And that one had a match to it, but it was a $10 million project, and we were awarded almost $8.6 million, and MDT agreed to match the 1.4 million on that one. The $75 million grant, there was no match to. So we'll focus on those two right now. Those two are up for, we've been having meetings with Federal Highways and MDT, CSKT, and a consultant, several consultants on the best options to deliver these projects. And the first step in that is to get these grants transferred to MDT to administer. And that's why I'm here today. That's the next step for this one. And it's kind of a two-step process. We request, or we get authorization from you guys to get the grant transferred to MDT. MDT sends a letter back to us accepting the grant transfer, and then we send another letter to Federal Highways transferring the grant at the federal level. So that's where we're at today. Just I'll slip this in too, as the portion of in the middle there that didn't get awarded yet, that $32 million in the pink section. That we are looking, we put in for that in FY 22 or 22 and as a part of the whole thing and got denied that portion of it. We put in for a NSFLTP grant in FY 23 and just recently found out that that didn't get approved. And the unofficial reasons are that they wanted to see some progress on these other grants first before they award this middle section here. But I think we're doing pretty good at showing progress. That south section has a CMGC contract with MDT, and they're working ahead on the design, and we've had weekly meetings on a lot of tough details on, let's see, for one thing, that the bridge by Hunt's Timber there, that the foundation on that was a big deal. They've been making progress on the technical details on those. And so that's moving forward as far as I'm concerned with MDT. It's moving along great, and they'll be providing updates on that every couple months or as you want to hear it.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. Question on those intersections, particularly Leon Road and McDonald Lake Road, and the one up at Gunlock. Has there been any potential designs on some of those yet, or is that still kind of in the works?
Yeah, it's still in the works. Let's see, I think the most detailed intersection design preliminary stuff has been on the Eagle Pass Trail way up north. But as far as the other intersections, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be interesting to see how that whole section there, particularly with, when you get to the top there, you've got the church and then a couple private residences there that have access. So it'd be interesting to see what those designs will look for that.
Okay, I'll make sure that the designers and MDT know that council's interested in intersections in particular as we develop those plans.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's just all of us that go through there and have cars turning off when you're coming down that hill, or particularly coming down, it can be real kind of interesting at times.
Yeah. And the other discussion that's been hot, like most recent, is the during construction, the keeping traffic going through, whether it be more of a on-site, they call it sometimes a shoe fly, where it's just getting traffic off the main traveled road that's going to be the new road and getting them back on, or making them or setting up a good detour where it bumps them over a half a mile or mile and up and around the projects. So that's been the most recent conversations we've had in our weekly meetings, is on the detours. And we've had MDT's been in contact mostly with the county and a few others, and our right-of-way section. And I guess if you have any input on that, just let me know. Or if you want to be involved in the decision-making process of this, just let me know. But other than that, it's been pretty much all the time, it's been Whisper and I, and then a few others in the weekly meetings.
Yeah, go ahead, Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, Scott, has MDT been notified that they're going to get this funding yet?
Not, not that they're gonna get the funding. Well, they know that we have it, and it's, yeah. Yeah, they know. But I guess I just wanted to make it clear that if we kept this grant for CSKT to administer, we'd have to staff up quite a bit. And it would take a tremendous effort on my part and the others to get it. Even working with the MDT, we still have to work with MDT, but to keep the grant, we'd have to staff up quite a bit. And I don't think anybody thinks it's practical to do that at this point.
How long do you think it's going to be before you're even going to start any of these projects?
The first one will be that south portion, which is most furthest along in the design, and that one that will have most all the design done by July of next year. So then it can start probably after, I'd say, fall of 25 or spring of 26. That's when the first one will start.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah,
Um,
Mr.
Yeah, go
Chair,
ahead.
thanks. Yeah, I just remember years ago when Ron Trahan, him and Lloyd were on the committee for the highway. And I know when that church added that, their access, they were really fighting the way that access was at the top of the hill there. I know they had talked about trying to get the church and the MDT or county or whomever to have them probably go down to Leon Road along like a frontage road instead of just accessing right there. But it never came to pass, but it's definitely still a problematic turn whenever people are trying to get in and out of there. So
Thank you, James. Does MDOT know the reason why the 9-pipe section isn't currently, why the rejection of the application?
Just not officially. I mean, we've had comments from some federal highways people that weren't official of the ones that chose it or anything like that, but that's what they were just assuming is because they wanted to see some progress on the others. But they definitely think that it's it will get approved as we were looking at different grants that have the best shot at getting that funding for that. And we're working with MDT and a consultant on which ones to apply for that. I just wanted to point out one more thing. If you want to, can you bring up that letter? From the first, back in December, we approved, you approved the grant transfer of that first section. Now in the letter, we added one more paragraph at the end on this round of grant transfer letters was due to increased oversight role that US 93 and federal highways discretionary grant funded projects will bring. CSKT does plan to request federal reimbursement for up to one full-time employee position. This would require our work directly with me or the Natural Resources Department. So I don't think MDT and federal highways have a problem with us dedicating one person to overseeing all this US 93 projects as a CSKT representative in this process besides me. So I think they're gonna allow this funding to be put in place with a project-specific agreement for both these grants and also the other the one that's already existing that we transferred.
So then you would, that FTE funding would come out of these grants?
Yes.
So we'd hold that back, or they would redirect it back to us?
Yeah.
With the project-specific agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to have just one person besides me overseeing all, I mean, just keeping a monitor on all three grants at this time.
Yeah, I was really hoping that with the Secretary of Transportation here this past summer that, was it this spring? Yeah. That maybe we would have gotten that last section. But he certainly knows about it, and
Yeah.
looks to me like he will probably be staying on for the next 4 years coming up. So I look forward to working with his administration in the future. So, any other discussion? No, he's not the VP. That's why I was worried that they're gonna nominate Pete as the VP guy. Is it?
Another question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Is in terms of the design, I don't remember if we've mentioned it. Maybe we have, maybe have. Is it going to follow the Super 2 design, or we're going to move towards more of a 4-lane design?
I think the 4-lane design was kind of put out from our environmental impact statement. So it's not going to be 4-lane. It's got to follow the environmental impact statement and the supplemental environmental impact statements. That it's all the design has to fall within that overall environmental constraints, I guess you'd call it. So it's not going to be a 4-lane.
Yeah, no, it'll remain the People's Way, Super 2. There'll be passing lane on Post Creek Hill, and I think the additive thing here is the pedestrian trail.
Yeah.
Is the only new scope, and you can see that with the dotted line on the map.
Yeah.
Where the
And I guess I could point out too that in our weekly meetings, and we had talked about different options on that trail. And if you see that dotted line on that map, it crosses over to the west side for a while and then back to the east side. I just wanted to point out that in our weekly meetings, we had a lot of discussions on what would be best to do, and it left it open in the environmental section. So what the decision is right now is to keep it all on the east side. And that would eliminate some crossings for pedestrians and bicyclists or whatever. But right now the decision is to keep it on the east side compared to what this map is. And I was wondering if you guys had any comments on that, if you had any problems with that. Because it's still in the development phase.
My only question would be, Scott, is the, 9-pipe reservoir, would there be in the design of the bridge over the wetted perimeter of the reservoir, is that going to be high enough for people to walk underneath? Could there be a path crossing underneath that?
Oh, to go back underneath the bridge.
Yeah, so people could cross the highway, but underneath the bridge, especially
guess-
anglers.
I guess I didn't really think about that. I can bring that up and put that in consideration. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just assume any water crossings, you try to make it as multi-purpose as possible and allow pedestrians or people to cross underneath the bridges also, besides grizzly bears and
Yeah, I saw somebody across.
bull
there
elk or whatever.
the other day.
Yeah.
And the turtles.
Turtles.
Yep. Yeah, there's been discussions about turtles.
I swear, the turtles along Highway 93 are much faster today than they were 75 years ago. You ever try to catch one? They're fast. Cross that highway, you gotta be quick. You know, get selected out of the ecosystem. Any other questions? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the funding transfer to MDOT from the NAE grant and the WCPP award grant to MDOT. Motion by Jimmy, second by Bing. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Can't see online. I think everybody's okay online.
I support.
Okay. Thanks, Len. Motion passes.
All right. Well, thank you.
Mark, I got one question to follow up on the status of the roads program and the consideration of public versus non-public roads for enforcement purposes. Where were we at with that?
No, I'm in the process of getting the roads inventory update done. So we're looking at adding and removing any roads to the NTTFI, the roads inventory for BIA. So in the next, I say, by the end of September, I have to have all the information that I want for adding and taking away from the BIA's roads inventory, which I guess that's kind of a soft date. The hard date is we have to have everything turned in by March 15th for that to be official. So we want to get everything ready by the end of September and then have some reviews. And then by the end of March, or middle of March, is the official time for us to turn stuff into BIA to get anything changed on the inventory.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Any other questions for Scott? Go ahead, Danielle.
Thank you. Wanted to tell you thank you. It looks like I'm thinking it was your crew was down in the agency and filled a couple of.
Oh, yeah, we did a few.
Potholes.
There's more to do, yeah.
It was kind of, yeah, it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, we're gonna miss a couple, but no, thank you for the amount you did do, and we're looking forward to the rest of it. And then I guess that road to the river in Dixon has like so many different names online. I don't know what to call it, but the old road to the bridge, or the bridge, where the bridge used to be, Old
Mhm.
Sloan's Road, C Street, Hodgkinson's Landing, whatever in the world that place is called, because it pops up online as 100 different things. That road is just ugly, and I don't know if it's a county road
Okay.
or who I need to contact to get that thing some help, because it needs a lot of love.
Okay,
It's almost worse than the agency roads, and that's hard to do. So
I don't know that that road is on my inventory right now, but it takes a little bit to get it in there. So if now would be the time if we wanted to add it into the BIA roads inventory, so it's our guys can maintain it.
I don't know, it just, even if I know who to contact to tell them to come, please fix it, sooner than later. I don't know if the rest of the group here wants that to be moved to a BIA road or not, I guess, but
Yeah.
I just want to figure out how to get it.
The Sanders County abandoned the bridge and that right of way, and we assumed control of that right of way. And when we developed that river access site, Wildland Rec used to maintain that road, and they developed the site. So it's just a tribal road maintained by Wildland Recreation at this time. It's, yes, not under Scott's inventory, could be, but that's where it's at.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I was just gonna say that if we can just give that we'll give that information a while on rec and see if they can throw some funds at it real quick. So it's a developed recreational site now that they can manage, so.
Daniel?
And if Wildland Land Rec is the ones taking care of the landscaping and stuff and keeping the grass and stuff cut down there, they're doing an excellent job on keeping it clean down there. So a huge thank you to them for that. It's just hard to get down there, is all. So thank you guys for your help.
Speed bumps. Dust abatement. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Council.
Okay, we're ahead of schedule. We have something else. Oh, Tony, sneaking in, are you? How are you? You are on, I'm sorry.
Did it officially
bad.
this time, I'm not just
Oh.
slipping in.
This is a Nature Conservancy one, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I'm here today, last year, just kind of re-upping the, letter of support that we did last year. Last year, we did a letter of support for the same acres. The LWCF application is gonna be spread over 2 different fiscal year funding cycles. So it'd be over 25 and 26. And so this is just gonna be another letter of support for the application for the purchase of the Placid Lake Fawn Creek Peak area, which is just off the reservation, past South Fork off to Cedar Lake. So it's part of that TNC purchase that they did a while back. They bought all the Plum Creek lands throughout that area to Gold Creek. They've part of TNC's initiative is to purchase those lands and then get it back to the correct land managers that are capable within that area, and Forest Service wants to purchase some of that land. So, along with BLM did a large purchase, and we're working with them on gathering some land also through Prim Meadows through that same initial land transfer. So this purchase will be in the Cedar Lake Ranger District, about 9,000 acres in total. And it's going to be purchased by the Forest Service, which then will reinitiate, is that the word I'm looking for? CSKT treaty rights within that, because it'll be in federal status, so. I think I attached the letter. Can't move this. I'm trying to scroll down, Jen.
You did. Any questions or comments? Motion by Martin to approve the letter, support letter. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? I'm assuming it's unanimous. I can't see my screen.
Yep, I'm in favor.
Yes, I'm in favor too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all I had for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Break time, all right. Break till whenever. At least 15 minutes, how about that? 10:30. All right, I think we're ready to get started. It's 10:30. I think we have all the folks here for the next presentation. So let's go ahead and go. Good morning. Got to push the buttons for you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning. So we had met last, I think it was Tuesday or Thursday? I don't remember, but we were talking about our ARPA projects, and one of the requests was for supplemental wells for community systems. And Rocky is here. She had put together the proposals. One is for Mission Dam home sites, and one is for Dog Lake. And so we are asking for council's approval to authorize the funding so we can put in supplemental wells.
Good morning. Out at Mission Dam, we historically have had 5 wells for the system. Right now, we have 3 wells. One well is offline because we've dropped the pump as far as we can and we cannot get any more water out of that. We brought one of our old wells back online, and 2 weeks ago, we started getting white water, which means we're sucking air. And so we have went in and modified the how often the pump circulates so that we could baby the system along until we can get the other well either drilled deeper. If we're not able to get water in that, then we would drill a 6th well for the system. Right now we are probably about 40% elderly, and I think I calculated about 30% children out at Mission Dam. You know, it's also in the foothills, and we have water restrictions depending upon which side of Mission Dam Road you live on. Each side of the water is 3 days a week, with 1 day allowing our wells to recover. So we're limping along with that system out there. If we completely lose our wells, then we have to deal with EPA. And I don't want to get to that point. And so it's very critical that we get a system going out there. Over at Dog Lake, we only have 6 houses there. We have I didn't bring that statistic. I believe it was like 60% elderly or near elderly, and about 20% kids. That well, it's a deep well, but we only sleeved it down so far when it was drilled. And once that sleeve, where the sleeve stopped, the well has collapsed in. And so it's limiting the amount of water that's coming up into that well for the community system. We're not going to be able to punch that well any deeper. You know, over there, I mean, we're not dealing with rocks, we're dealing with boulders. And so we're going to go just a few feet away from the existing well and drill another one and connect it into the system there. Again, treat area, that community in the last 2 years has had fires within the vicinity of it. And so if they had a fire break out, you know, the homeowners wouldn't have a means to protect their homes. And so we're asking for 120,000 for both wells, and that is just an estimate. Because we never know what the true cost is going to be until we start drilling. And so we're hoping that, you know, we can utilize some of these ARPA funds to help out tribal members. Both of these communities are all home sites, so they are all tribal members that are on in the homes.
Motion approved, Mr. Chair.
Motion by James to approve the request. I have a couple questions. So the funding is available. This is in, not in, this is in what we have, and there's unappropriated funds.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, because the allocation is covering homeowners assistance in the original 6 million, it would require your approval to allocate a portion of that to a community system, such as what they're requesting for.
Wait, Martin? Who? Oh, Greg. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
This little light.
Good morning. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I'm happy to inform you that there are unallocated ARPA funds, and it would be in line with the ARPA funding, and your approval will certainly be appropriate here, and I can account for those in my next presentation to council, which is scheduled for Monday. So this is within the boundaries, and the funds are allocable for this project.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Ruth, for that information. So I have one question, and because I've dealt with housing and the wells and the charges that you have. And my understanding, so just pretend that there was no ARPA money. My understanding was that you collect from everybody who's participant in the system, and you're supposed to be maintaining these and like thinking of things ahead where system fails or you're maintaining or replacing wells. So what you're telling me is you're not charging enough, you don't have a big enough bankroll to take care of these issues, or what's the deal?
1000% you are accurate. We do not have any money saved. The Housing Authority uses rental income to subsidize the water and sewer program every single year. The user fees that we collect don't, maybe 50% of the operating expenses. And we get OEH, IHS Office of Environmental Health funds that are supposed to help with the administration. It doesn't cover the administration. So for covering 42 systems over the entire reservation with 4 operators, we aren't charging enough. Rocky has just completed a rate study with ITCA, and I read it last night, and she's spot on. We have commercial companies that, well, like Tribal Health Clinic, that pays very small amount. We should be charging twice what we are. And she has different options. It's literally like we should be doubling what we're charging, but we can't put that burden onto the users like that. You know, we would have to take small steps over a period of time and find other grant funding to help offset those expenses, and then also analyze how we are spending our funds. Are the GSA vehicles we're driving, are those the best deal that we can get? It's majority of it is personnel expenses, just like most service providers is your personnel. That's the most. And we have 4 operators to cover every system that we operate and maintain. Lisa Shorts had asked if we would be able to take over Kicking Horse. Oh, sorry, not Lisa, Janet Camel, for the operations and maintenance of Kicking Horse. And I told her we cannot take on another system without bringing on more staff. We are stretched too thin as it already is. And so I think she's going to be bringing that proposal to you guys, but we couldn't do it without more staff. We're in a predicament. We don't charge enough for the cost of doing business today.
So I have to ask this, Jody, because
For sure.
wouldn't be doing my due diligence. So you came in and made a request for cost of living for employees or
Yes.
pay raise,
Yep.
and now you're telling me that your personnel costs
Housing
are.
is separate than water and sewer. And I don't know, maybe you guys don't understand how that works. So we have the.
Edify me, please.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the Housing Authority, we get our own grants and stuff like that. The water and sewer program is the CSKT program that's housed at housing. It is not a housing program, but it's housed there. And they get money from OEH to operate, that's their administration funds. that funnels as a pass-through. The tribe gets the money and passes it through to housing for those administration fees. And then our project engineer, he is employed at the Water and Sewer Department, and he puts in special projects into the IHS STARS database, anything that's a deficiency, and then the IHS will choose which of the projects he submitted they want to fund. The tribes go to the money goes to the tribe, and it's passed through to housing. So it's like we are housing them, hosting them for the tribal entity, the organization. We have been supplementing with rental income as long as I know. It never operated, it's never been self-sufficient. But that is what we do because I think 262 of their 900 customers are SCAHA rentals, you know, so we pay the water and sewer fee for every single renter. We pay it for them. So anyway, when we analyzed the budget, we got a bump in our annual operating for housing the last several years. So we could sustain it. I couldn't say, can I have a cost of living for all the housing related employees, but not water and sewer? So I had to, they're our redheaded stepchild, they know that. But I had to include them in that for equality, but they are using our rental income to pay for that. So anyway, that's how it works. And we are analyzing it because I told them it is a misuse of rental income. It is unrestricted dollars, but it's not intended for water and sewer. It's intended for housing. And so we are in the middle of the process of figuring out how to move forward to have more financial resilience, but we aren't there yet. And also, I think it's been over 5 years that I've been executive director, and now I feel like I can do some of this cleanup stuff. You know, COVID was terrible, but we survived, and we are improving our programs as we go. And water and sewer is one area where their budget has been out of balance forever. And so that's why we're assessing it.
So there's one more question, Ruthie, and then I'll get to you. So I really appreciate, you know, you've identified 2 risk systems, but if there's other money that we have and there's other systems at risk or we need a redundancy, then why aren't we proposing those 2 to expedite and utilize these funds for?
And these were more of like an emergent situation. I had told Rocky, we need to do it before they go dry completely. We've seen the warning signs. We are at the emergent situation, but I don't know. And we have provided on several occasions proposals for all of our systems. But I think it was maybe Rick was part of the first one. It was part of the water compact. So I believe that the water compact would have funding to address all of our systems.
Whenever that becomes available.
I know, Rick said maybe 5 years we'll be able to give you some money, maybe, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ruth.
Oh, yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman. To further explain how the water and sewer program is actually in place, I just want to clarify this. So the tribe is the contractor, receives the IHS compact funding. When we first started that, the sanitation facilities construction was managed by Tribal Health. And it was some point, I want to say it was 95 or 96. The tribe elected to transfer it to the Housing Authority, and they are then operating that function for us. So the other option would be to do any other, you know, entity. It could go back to Tribal Health. It could go as an entirely separate entity like Mission Valley Power and operate as a utility. The funding that we get awarded is not in services. So appropriation wise, it's in the IHS facilities part. Facilities funding is not recurring. And it is going to be based on these very formulaic engineers, create the most, elaborate systems for identifying funding to go. So there's a table that identifies the amount that is available to housing. What we've done as a tribe, because this is our option to do that, is to maintain their funding. So regardless of what the actual funding has been made available through the compact, we fund at the level that we choose to provide. So for instance, this year, the funding was actually reduced by almost 100,000. But not wanting to reduce the program, not only this year, but in the coming year, housing is awarded, what we've chosen to make, and you have approved that allocation for 25 already, 400,000. If the actual appropriated funding changes and it goes up, we'll naturally pass forward that increase. It's not of any, use or application to tribal health, say, for direct care services for healthcare. So we're giving every available dollar to the program that we can. As Jody has said, it's up to them to enter in information to the deficiency system so that the Billings area, once it gets its pot of available funding for facilities construction, they then give us the relative priority of projects awarded. And so we will get the dispersed sites funding. We will get, say, lagoon or other types of improvements on the systems that we've already built. But every one of these systems has been built by IHS dollars. To my knowledge, the tribe has not supplemented or funded any of it. If it has, it's been very minimal. So to me, there needs to be a business approach to this program, or it will run in deficit every single year. I'm a user on a system. I have paid the same amount for 7 years plus, and sort of asked myself, I wonder why they never raise our rates, because I know their cost of operation doesn't stay the same. So even if it was $1 or $2 a month, you just incrementally increase that. I got told by someone evidently has more experience with it than me that, well, politically, they just won't do it. I said, who won't? They won't, or the council won't. I said, you have to do it some way. I appreciate Jody's comment on how they are making it work, because I've wondered myself. I thought they must be bringing in something, maybe through Nahasda or something to make it run the way it does. But that's just, trying to help you understand how it's working. There's no reason on our side to underfund it with IHS, but it can only be what it is. There's, I think, an opportunity, as Jody had mentioned, to take on management of the kicking horse system once it's built. And if that's, seen as, necessary, that they need to increase their capacity, I don't think it's our place to tell them how and what to run, but to say we can make funding available. You got to figure it out. But that's the issue with compact funding, is we're not going to drag it away from IHS direct services to do facilities. That would not be my recommendation.
Thank you, Ruth.
So it must have been in 1993, because Carol Langford had signed a MOU between us, SCAHA, and Tribal Council.
I just
So it must have been
remember, I think
93.
it was Chris Lozo ran the program back in the day.
Way back in
Way back in the
when it was
day.
IHS.
Yeah, yeah,
Boy, we're really good.
yeah. Anyway,
That's right.
thank you for that information. Yeah, Rocky.
We have 43 systems that go from Dayton clear down to Evero, and then one over at Dog Lake. The majority of our systems are aging. We have St. Ignatius, Dixon Town, Arley, and Elmo are our oldest systems. And along with that, with the systems aging, we're also dealing with lead lines, and there's EPA mandates regarding our lead service lines that, we have to have them identified and replacements. So, in addition to trying to maintain, all of our systems, I'm also having to make sure that we are making meeting this other mandate of, October 16th deadline to identify service lines. You know, we have emergencies every day. I had my workers called out Friday for a system that developed a leak next to the well. It was one of our smaller systems. And so I had to call guys in. I had 5 guys come in on Friday. In the heat, we did provide water for the community while we were making the necessary repairs. And so we're running into that, you know, weekly of, you know, running from one system to another. And some days I only have 2 operators. And, you know, it's real hard to, I mean, I knew what I was stepping into when I applied for the management position, but it's, you know, trying to keep us out of EPA's radar and maintaining our safe water requirements is hard with, you know, the limited budget we have. And so I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you, Rocky.
And one other contributing factor that I would consider when we provide rental income to them, their grants, because they have 2 divisions. One is the operators, but then they also have construction. So the ones that are installing the, you know, individual systems, the ones that are doing our lagoon repairs or booster upgrades, you know, like all of those, that's a different division of a water and sewer. And so that generates IDC, and that offsets the cost of the housing authority's administration. And so even though we are providing you know, several $100,000 of rental income, they might be generating $800,000 of IDC. And so it's been a partnership. We call them our redheaded stepchild, but we love them. And they are part of the housing authority's family, and that's why they were included. But they do have separate budgets and separate funding and revenue streams.
All right, we have a motion by James to approve the ARPA funding for the Mission Dam and Dog Lake community well systems. Is there a second? Second by Danielle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
I'm in favor.
Unanimous.
Thank you. It means a lot to us and also to the customers on the wells.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Hey, congratulations, Rocky.
Thank you.
And maybe as a side note, last week we were informed that we will be receiving the IHBG competitive 23 fiscal year 23 grant, and that was for transitional supportive housing. Headquarters at HUD has not given the grant agreement to me yet. So I haven't signed for it yet, but council had obligated 2.5 million for that project. And that was at the former Fangsrud property by the new Tribal Health Clinic for apartment complex. So Nolan Michelle had been instrumental in our special projects. He actually is taking a different job. He's spreading his wings and he's going to be working for Bonneville Environmental Foundation. So you're looking at the new coordinator. Just kidding. We're trying we're trying to figure out how we're going to move forward because the bomb dropped yesterday. But I will be in touch soon because and I'll be working primarily with Patricia Hibbler on getting that funding. But just so you guys know, it was successful. Thank you for your support. And that was also ARPA dollars that were allocated. And we have to enter into an MOU before December 31st of this year and have the funds expensed before December 31st of next year. So.
Cool.
Yay!
Yeah, congratulations.
So thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, next up.
And Dan would like to go on executive.
Okay, legal and executive. All right. Mission, please. Okay. Go ahead, Martin.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to kind of codify the donation that we approved Carol to do at the fundraiser for cultural programming for the Boys and Girls Club locally. So just want to make sure we support that.
Motion by Martin to approve the Reservation Boys and Girls Club auction purchased by Carol at the annual fundraiser dinner. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous? Thanks, Carol, for attending.
In open, just a plant, remember the girl from Royal Life? They accepted her now into Project 30. She has followed through with a lot of guidance and it's all good. And now she's getting on her monthly shot, so she won't.
Good for her.
back.
Wow.
It's work, but it's good work. It makes you feel good to know that she's achieved something huge.
Wow.
That'll change her
It
life.
is.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good.
Microphone?
Okay. All right. Okay. I struggle with my cell phone too, so. So the reason why I came here today is, as you know, I'm the chief of police for St. Ignatius. I've been there 2 years now. In that time, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of things fluid. I've met with department heads from other agencies, department heads from other parts of the county. Inadvertently, I've met with county commissioners through meetings, tried to build relationships, but I've never approached you guys. I've never approached the tribal council, that is. Because I really didn't even think anything of it. And I thought, I've been here 2 years. I'm sure you've probably heard about me through media or whatever. I should come here. This is your tribal land, your reservation. It's only appropriate for me to come here, introduce myself, in case you don't know me, put a face to the name, talk a little bit about the department, what I've done. And then I know I'm on a certain allotted time, but also if you guys have any questions about the department or myself or what I plan on doing in the future, the direction I'm taking it, or people in my employment or soon to be in my employment, I'm here to be transparent about it. This is something I should have done 2 years ago. I apologize, but I'm here now, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Jason, for coming in. Appreciate it. It's good to meet you. I don't
We've
spend
met
a lot of
before.
time in Mission, have I? Have we met before?
I was one of your tenants when I was Ronan officer. Right.
It's your beard. When
It
did
is.
you grow the beard?
So shortly after I left for Florida, yeah,
No, I don't recognize you with the beard. Yeah, I recognized your voice.
I lived down in Florida for, gosh, what was it? Just a couple of years, and I grew it down there, and I had already planned on moving back, and then COVID hit, and it kind of monkey wrenched a lot of things. But I've had the beard since then, let the hair grow out a little bit. When I started as a chief in mission, I was shaving my head because it was just easy. And then I'm like, I just don't have that look. So I let my hair grow back out. This is how my hairdo was when I started this profession over 20 years ago. And so, this is where it's at now. So yeah, I was your tenant. And as you know, Tom, I come with baggage, but it's old baggage I don't carry anymore. And that's a quick thing I'll hit on here as to what I've been doing and why. So since I took over, I already knew I was kind of getting into a little bit of a headache. I knew Mission had some issues in the past, in their prior leadership. I didn't want that. I didn't want that for the department. I didn't want that for the community. So from day one, it was a go. I walked in, the department, the interior was pretty, it wasn't a police department. It looked like a dirty, dingy Jiffy Lube waiting room, holes in the ceiling, water leaks, trash. And this is a police department that the public is expected to have a right to. And I was embarrassed from day one. So from that day on, they've been, the progress has been slow because for a long time it was just me down there. But there's been nothing but forward momentum. We've got furniture, some of it's donated because we don't have the budget. We got paintings on the walls. Some of them are hiding holes till I can fix those. Some of the stuff that's getting done, I have to sometimes do, and it's even on my own dime because this is a representation of my name also, but I take it seriously and the community deserves that. For a long time, there wasn't even really a sign out there. The building's an old building. It had spray on gravel on the front, a small sign that said police. Put some money into that. The place, I think it's got a long way to go, but it's came a long way. It's more professional, it's more comfortable, it's more positive when you walk inside. There's still a lot to do on a small budget, but we don't have leaky ceilings at the moment, holes in the walls. Well, we still got those, but not as bad. You can walk in, and especially if you're a victim of a crime, you can walk in and feel safe. What a police department. For what it is, it's still a long way to go. We will not have the budget, the finances, the fixtures like bigger agencies here in the county, but it's a lot better than what it was. And I'm proud of that. I take a lot of pride in that, and I took a lot of work into it, a lot of my own time. So I take it seriously because it's my name that reflects it, and it's important to the community. So in that time, I did a lot of things. I met Mr. James Steele. I've done a lot of Narcan training in the community. As you know, fentanyl's been an issue. When I first started, I brought in some trainers for suicide awareness for the community, free training. Right now, I'm in the process of starting a reserve program, and I got some good applicants on that. So that's extra bodies, and that's important, reserve police officers, because we don't have a very big budget, and the crime is going up. And these are things that we need, and that's how I started too. So having extra bodies that are willing to work, that are qualified to work, some of them are retired law enforcement, but that's an asset to the community. I'm rebuilding relationships with other departments, the cooperation, the trust, that's all important. All of that factors in. We've started a social media page. That's a major tool that I use. It's helped solve a lot of crimes. I've gotten involved with Crime Stoppers, the Emergency 911 Board, working on upgrades for equipment, getting grants for vests, AEDs, computers. Right now, we're working on a COPS grant, and Mr. Steele, he actually sent us a support letter to send in for this COPS grant. We're hoping to fund another position. We should hear back, I read today, after September 30th, and I'm hoping we do. But even if we don't, I got reserve officers that are willing to commit their time until we can reapply again next year. So I'm trying to move the department in a positive direction, thinking about the future, thinking forward progress, getting it out of the past that it was in, and hopefully, it'll always have a reputation, unfortunately, but a better one. And that's what I've been working on. I take a lot of seriousness in the Narcan training, and the reason why I do that is because I've had my own battles with alcohol in the past, and I know that fentanyl, that's different, but addiction's addiction, it's just a different kind. And so I take a lot of that, and it helps me. Over the years, I wasn't always this way, but over the years, it's helped me to better relate and understand people. And I don't always get it right, and I don't always win, and it doesn't always work out well, but sometimes it helps talking to someone who's struggling with that too. You build a rapport, you might de-escalate a situation, you might learn some things, and it's overall good. So I do a lot of Narcan training. I'm an EMT for Hot Springs. I've done some Narcan training in Hot Springs. I work with Kathy Ross of Tribal Health. She's been very good with us, and just continuing to get involved in the community. I'm on a couple boards, participate in a lot of community meetings. In fact, I've kind of forgot the names of some of them, but I still know their core context. Right now I'm part of a group that's trying to put together something called, it's similar to what First Step is in Missoula. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with what First Step is at St. Patrick Hospital, but it's for investigating sexual assault victims. We're trying to get something like that here in Lake County, so we don't have to say to a victim who's already been traumatized, go to Missoula. So I'm part of that, getting more engaged, getting more involved, and trying to get St. Ignatius on the map again in actions and in reputation. And I wanted to come here today, not asking for anything. I just want you to meet me. If you have questions for me, whether you've heard about something, you want some clarity on something, unless it's involving an active investigation, I'm an open book in case any of you have any questions for me. And like I said earlier, it's only appropriate that I do this. Should have done it 2 years ago, but starting over and starting a new department, rebuilding it from scratch. Just a lot of things moving, and sometimes it's hard to, you know, you're drinking water from a fire hose, and sometimes it's hard to keep your head, you know, on a swivel.
Go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for taking the time to come introduce yourself to us.
Thank you.
That means a lot to us. It really does. So just a suggestion. Our Salish Ponderay elders are going to start meeting once a month at the Longhouse, and that goes on all year round. Probably I would suggest that maybe you stop in and introduce yourself to them, and you know, just let them know who you are and everything. I think they would really appreciate that.
I have actually thought of that. And I don't know, I'm still learning the culture and everything here, and I don't understand or know quite everything the Longhouse does. So I've always just kind of left, I know it's where there's wakes and all. And so I've always just kind of left the privacy in that way to them, you know, just let them have their time. So I've never been in there, but it's because of just respecting their privacy. But that's something I could, if you have a contact, somebody I can contact specifically.
Yeah, Sadie Stops.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I'm more than willing to do that. I would like to do that. So
All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Bing?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome welcome here to come and visit us. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Your city police mission, right?
Right.
Before they used to sit on the highway out there and stop a few of them cars that can't read a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. And I really appreciated that, you know, because them suckers, they do travel, and then you got business on both sides of the road there that try to get across there.
Yeah.
And it's tough. As when there just hasn't been a real fatality there with the traffic going so fast through there. And I was wondering if you're ever going to do that anymore.
Sit out on the highway? Yes, we do. I mean, we enforce that all the time. Now, understand we're a small department. I lose sleep at night knowing that sometimes no one's on duty, but that's how it's been. That's how it'll be. So we try to reach out, because everyone, no matter what the concern or the complaint is, everyone's is equally important. But we try to get out there quite a bit. And we see people going in that 45, at 60, at 70 miles an hour. And some of them are people that live here that know. They just, in my opinion, I just sometimes wonder if they forget that we're there. But yes, we do hit it, and we'll continue to hit it. That will always be a concern. We had it wasn't a fatality crash last summer, but it was a bad 2-car crash, very bad one there. Both people from out of the state were here vacationing, and it was because of speeds. So we always hit it. We get a lot of speeders on old 93, which is Main Street now too still. So we do try to hit them all. And sometimes we can catch them, sometimes we can't. But we do try to get out there, and we keep enforcing that. I wish they would put a light in. That would be up to the state though, but that would be I think that would be a very good investment for safety.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, thank you, Jason. It's been good to work with you, and appreciated the tour you gave Kathy and I of the office last spring, I believe. And definitely good to have you there, and good to have you with the attitude of commitment to the department and to the community, and appreciate working with you. And I definitely appreciate your leadership there. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your help as well in that letter. Don't know if we'll get it. I feel like we got a 50-50 chance. They've been peppering us with some questions on our application, so I'm hopeful. And if not, we'll do it again next year. We just have to wait another year, that's all. And that'd be for the COPS grant.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have you had many issues with dogs, and how do you deal with them in your community?
Yeah, we do. We get complaints. So the town has town ordinances, but they're only enforceable for non-tribal members. they don't govern tribal members. I believe that there is a vicious dog that, from my understanding, when I met with the courts, but this was 2 years ago, that I could enforce if we can locate the owners. I've had that once, but it is a concern because we do get dogs that are running, and sometimes they run in packs, and I worry about, I worry about anyone that could get hurt, but especially children. That does concern me, but my understanding is, I think the county was looking at trying to get an animal control, an animal warden, someone to kind of deal specific with that. Because the other issue that we have is, if we take a dog, we got really nowhere to put a dog, and my budget to hold a dog is like a couple $100, which could go through in a day. I had a case once, not here, but I had a case of animal cruelty, and the dog was basically evidence, and we had to keep the dog alive. This was in Hot Springs, actually. We had to take it to the vet, had to get shots, all this stuff, and it costed them a lot of money. And our budget for dog enforcement ordinances is really minuscule. It's a concern. We take them as they come. We try to locate the owner, see if they'll do something about the dogs. If it's something that we have to turn over to tribal authorities, I can do that too. And then from there, we see what happens. We get results, maybe not as much as the public would wish, but given our situation countywide right now, we do get results. Things do happen, and there is enforcement actions. It's just might be a few more steps I may have to take depending on the situation.
Yeah, we're kind of dealing with that reservation wide, and so we're actually looking at an ordinance, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
And the other, I was just wondering about the capacity of, like you said,
Yeah, and
holding, you don't have anything.
No, we got a garage with 2 bays, but no kennel. But then we would have to feed it. And as you know, we're not always around, so we'd have to pay someone to feed it. And last time, it's one of the ones we don't look at a lot, but if I recall, it's like $100 or $200 a year. That's, in some cases, and I'm careful with how I want to say this, but in some cases, we're trying to operate a 2023 department on a 1990s budget, and it's just hard to stretch a dollar anymore. The cost of everything is going up. Equipment's going up, cars, you name it, dog food, So it's tough. I got to try to get as creative as I can to find a happy medium for everyone.
Other questions for Jason?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Thank you. Hey, Jason, were you ever able to connect with Tribal Health on some of their potential surplus property, furniture particularly?
I did. In fact, I got a really nice chair, and all I had to do was buy, go on Amazon and spend $14 on some new wheels for it to roll. But see, we got these chairs, and our duty belts get in the way. And so we got to get chairs with extra long arms and stuff. And we bought some chairs online, again, on a budget. And the chairs I got weren't even lasting. And I got more furniture needs. If we get this 3rd officer, I'll be looking for a desk. Some stuff in that department is mine because I just bought it. Like our TV on the wall for looking at video and stuff. I just bought it. So there's going to be needs still. The old desks I got now, if I want to replace them, I'm gonna have to tear them apart to get them out the door. So that's gonna be a project. I got a city works guy, but there's a lot of things that I know that I just need to do it because I could be waiting a while because he's got a lot of stuff too. So sometimes I wear a lot of hats. There will still be needs, but I did get some chairs, and I was very thankful for that because the chairs we had weren't lasting.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I don't even know if we can do this, but each year, the tribe has excess equipment, furniture, those type of things. And usually it's just in-house, but if there's a need, maybe next year we could send you the list and if there are things on there that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually, Property and Splat at the old Kicking Horse Job Corps site, they might have excess equipment, things that, I don't know what's out there, but I'm sure not all of it was bid on this year.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Steele was telling me that, the chairs I got, there was a little building there off of Main Street in Mission. That's where those were at. If we get this 3rd position, we're gonna be getting a desk for this officer, and so I'll be definitely in the market for that. And my desk is old. It's got broken doors or cabinets, but again, the doorways are smaller. They had to have torn apart the desk to get it in, or maybe they put a wall in. There's been some renovations over the decades in that building, but the desks that are in there now gotta be tore apart to get out, so that'll be a interesting challenge.
Jennifer could probably assist you with,
Okay, okay. Yeah. But, we're always looking for upgrades. When I walked in on day one, the lobby was 2 old blue chairs and a wood table and boxes. Now there's a waiting couch, there's side tables, there's what we call a conference table now. If we have kids that are coming in with their parents for whatever reasons, I got some toys for them. I got a big TV mounted on the corner. I can plug in cartoons, things like that, like out here, just to make it comfortable instead of you're coming in and you're looking at dirt and garbage. And I've had agencies come to me, their officers say that we didn't really know if there was a police department here. There's nothing indicating, no signs. We look in the windows, there's nothing there. Now you can tell there's a presence. And I think that means a lot to the community.
All right, Jason. I apologize again for not recognizing you right away.
Well, that's
You're
fine.
here.
That's not a bad thing.
Getting old, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I moved down to Florida, it was in a bad spot. But what is it? It'll be 6 years December since my last drink of alcohol. And that's why, again, I do this Narcan training, because I mean, I can't relate to the drugs, the fentanyl. I don't know. I only know what my crutch was. But I kind of get the idea of what battling addiction struggles are like. And I think we all know somebody that's going through it. And, but I also know you can get your life together, but you gotta want it too. So.
Well, I'm real proud of you, Jason. You know,
Thank you.
you're a good person. I got to know you when you were renting from me, and you're a good person then. You're even a better person now. So congratulate you with
appreciate
that. Glad to have you back on the res.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. So yeah, what I did was I offered up, my wife and I have a few houses, and we offered them at cost to the Ronan Police Department. If any police member needed a place to stay. That's how Jason ended up in one of my houses.
Yeah, for it was close to 2 years, I think. I don't remember exactly how long, but
Yeah.
yeah, change had to happen.
Yep.
It did. And it's not to say it got better right away in Florida. There were some times when I was in no man's land, but that's also where it kind of turned around.
Yeah.
So it happened for a reason. I still don't know why that reason is, but
Turned out well.
I'm here now for the moment.
Absolutely.
So we'll
Well,
see.
you
So-
know, you've always been you're a good person when I first met you, and you're even a better person now. So thank you. Thank you for your support, your service to our community, you know, putting yourself on the line for us. And, we pray for your safety and your well-being every day.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I apologize, it took 2 years. It shouldn't have, but, you know.
It's okay.
I think we've had officers that worked their whole career and never came in here, so 2 years isn't, you know,
Yeah, so.
you're forgiven.
So the other thing is that's on my mind now is, I got a potential hire for a reserve officer, has a lot of experience. He also comes from Florida, but I don't know him. But he works in Ronan. I believe he's got some ties to the school. Good guy. If that ends up panning out, and or if I get this grant and hire a third person, my intent from here on out, as long as I'm the chief, make it as part of their orientation to set up a time to come in and meet you. It's only appropriate. Sometimes I'm a slow learner though, and it took me a while, but it's only appropriate, and it should have been done right away because this is your tribal land. It's only fair and appropriate. So that's gonna be something that, my other officer's working right now, so I couldn't bring her with me. It was kind of last minute. Thought that I had, but moving forward, my plan is to bring the officers that I hire that are under me in to meet the council.
Well, we'd love to meet them, and, you know, we're here to support you too. So we want to make our community safe for everybody. And, that takes teamwork, and, you know, there's no you and them, it's us.
Right.
So that's how we achieve success. So thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming in. Go ahead, Martin.
And I'm sure you know Craig and Louis, our
Mhm.
chief of police and captain, you know, they're both really accessible as well. You know, really work well with a lot of the other communities. I don't know, you know, your connection or your, relationship with them, but yeah, they're always more than willing to, you know, include you in trainings or things like that. I think they did some cultural training for the officers in the county think about a month and a half ago. And so definitely, if you weren't on that one, I imagine we'll do more and, just kind of, help heal our community as a whole and not.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things that we gotta look at with these drug issues is that it's not just Indian or non-Indian, it's the entire community that needs to heal and get through these issues. So I appreciate you doing that and being being really transparent about everything with your life, because that honesty translates well with people that are struggling. So, yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, and it's, I know a lot of first responders struggling with it too. And there's one right now from my old agency I've been talking to on the phone that's going through a difficult time. And this first responder, well, ex-first responder, is struggling with the concept of losing certain properties or assets. And I'm like, we can't judge our sobriety based on anyone else. That's number one. Number two is somehow we went out to no man's land and lost our way. And once we lost our way, we lost the right to dictate the terms of our sobriety, but we did not lose the right to fight to be sober and to stay sober. You still have that right. What that means is basically you might have to make compromises and accept change. That's all part of it. But that's something you learn as you go through it once you get back from no man's land. That's what I tell people.
Well, thank you, Jason, for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And when I get back from vacation, the plan is to probably get this reserve going, and I do plan on setting up another time that works, bring them in. All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was our last agenda item, so motion by Len to adjourn, so be it. And now we're adjourned.